Thank you, Edward. So I work closely with a big team in the continent. That's why it's always good to know who's behind the screen. And also I'm joined by another colleague based in Rwanda, Joseph, who's currently in another meeting. So for today's training, we were able to introduce you to the platform today. And also we tried as much as possible to connect you with the platform. And also congratulations to the team who's made this far. So our program G20 Africa is powered by a partnership. It uses the Open Data Cube technology, and all our data sets over 5 petabytes are stored in the Amazon Web Services, who also have an office in Cape Town, South Africa. So makes easier to connect to our data sets, which are in analysis ready format, and we are empowering the continent to access this platform. So as part of this hackathon is just to introduce you to the services that we have. All of these are free, and the platform is also free, really empowering you as a young people on these important engagements of G20. So we are hosted in South Africa, and we are working with partners across the continent. As you heard, my colleague is based in Ghana. We also have footprint in many parts of the continent. The program has been able to develop continental services, which are very key to unlock the potential of using Earth observation from space to provide those informative solutions. So in the continent, we are providing these analysis-ready dataset formats, and we are providing the data from space agencies. From the US, we have the Landsat 5, 7, 8, and 9. And also in the European Space Agency, we have Sentinel-1 and 2, and we have plans of adding the Sentinel-3 currently and Sentinel-5P respectively. So G20 Africa is happy to be one of the biggest Open Data Cube technology, and we are borrowing our success from our donor and funder, Digital Earth Australia, where they've demonstrated this capability the last 8 years. So with us being at least only 4 or 5 years, we've been able to work with partners in terms of co-designing and also providing an online platform where you can also be trained as well. We are cognizant of the challenges in the continent and also beyond.
And happy to
be looking at agriculture, water, land, urban, and coastal. And looking at the themes of our hackathon, we are able to see those particular insights and specific areas that to be able to engage you. So from the data sets to provide the insights, we have the GeoMat, which is a cloud-free mosaic for the whole continent. We provide it from the Sentinel-2 from the year 2017 to date, and these are yearly mosaics which are cloud-free. We have the cropland extent map to provide you the analysis of the crop phenology and food security from space. And also we have the water observation from space, providing insights. And recently we had the coastline and the water bodies respectively. So all these insights are very useful because we are looking at the different national development agendas of our countries, and we are all united with the Sustainable Development Goals, as well as the theme of this particular hackathon, making sure that we're working beyond the continent to provide those particular insights. So the water observation from space, all the methodology has been shared, provides you with over 35 years of data from the 1980s, seeing how our wetlands have changed from space. Very key to see some of the wetlands and how they've evolved over time. From the food security, we had this crop mask where we used Sentinel-2 datasets, and we did a lot of validation with partners across the continent, which is very key to provide that machine learning capability. In terms of also looking at the vegetation index, we have the vegetation index anomaly, which we've developed for the whole continent. And just in a snapshot, we're able to see at the country level as well as the farm level of how much our vegetation is changing from space. Very key to also informing drought, which are very prone also in sub-Saharan Africa. In terms of the coastline service, we use Landsat data, where we provided the coastline data from the year 2000, 2024 now. We've worked with our partners in the continent to do validation, and we borrow these from the Digital Earth Australia. We are now looking at providing those useful hotspots, rates of change, and average change of the shorelines, which are very key to address climate change. So this is just a snapshot of what we have, just an example of where we based Mgeni in KwaZulu-Natal in South Africa, just some of those highlights, as we have 38 countries covered by the coastline in the continent. The water body service is a build-up of the water observation from space, showing you now individual water bodies, and over 30 years, we're able to show the developments that have happened across the continent, very key to help us in monitoring our water sources. Access to the platform, we have the Digital South Africa map, we have the sandbox, and also we have access through other GIS softwares, where we have access through APIs, and also we have a free online learning platform. In terms of access to the platform, we have on our website the platform and the services, and also showing you the analysis ready data, and also providing you with a short demo. So this is the map itself, where you're able to access the continental services, and also we also have access to the Africa geoportal as well, and also other sources of ways of accessing the platform. So going to the website, we have the platform, and we have the Digital Africa map, sandbox, the notebook, geoportal, and also the continental services. So when you go to the map now, we're able to see just step by step, where you click on it, it will take you to the directory, and also just zooming into an area of our interest anywhere, just for the purposes of the demo. We could just look at country level or even continental level, the continental services, the coastal lines, which we can also add, just showing you some areas around South Africa in Durban, some of the hotspot areas, and just showing you the changes of the coastline, which some of them are over several meters. This has been one of the hotspot areas, which especially has reported in April 2022, and also reported by the South Africa Weather Service. So we are seeing some of these areas changing over quite some distance, over 100 meters. And just as we have the cyclones every year, at least twice a year, early the year, we can be able to see how it affects the area. And you can share some of your work either in a chat or the link, and also exploring other sources of data. The surface water bodies, we can look at this small individual water body and see its trend over time, when we had specific dates, increase and decrease. Also, we can also look at the water observation from space, which you can do a whole summary of over 35 years, just showing you how that specific wetland has changed. And as you can see, the colors from blue to red, and also just, it's quite informative for our countries. So just giving you an idea that at least in the platform, you can be able to go to any trace over your location or in the continent, and get some of those hotspot areas, or even you could look at some of the websites which are reporting some of the disasters, and you can be able to have an idea on your project as an example. So this is just one of the hotspot areas. We have South Africa in Durban, and also we have other parts. So this is one of the lakes as well, and you can see the trends over time. So we have St. Lucia, and also we have Lake Sibaya in the east part of South Africa. So also looking at the quite big continent. So we are looking at various examples, which we cannot just cover in one. Just seeing this, just giving you an overview of what is available, and how much at least you can just try to look at those resources and see how to start on your area of choice or selection. So also we're able to look at other data sets, looking at what is available, also looking at the vegetation, the climatologies, which are very key to show you the trends and the droughts, especially most parts of Southern Africa, and also different dates, even the vegetation index. So this one is for the whole continent. So in the red, you'll see areas which have been really affected by vegetation, really dried over time, especially in the coast, in Namibia, northwest of South Africa, and of course the Southern Africa. Also in the background, you can change the map format. You can also look at different scenarios, and you can see generally the trend over time. You can change between the dates for the vegetation anomaly so that you can get a snapshot which years were drier or which ones there was some recovery. But also looking at the coast of Namibia and Angola, you could actually see the trends have been not very good over time. So this is just an assessment country level. We could add these data sets and also add of these hackathon is to see just the trends, also covering the extents of our islands, including also Madagascar and other islands. So this is a quite informative resource. So depending also on your background, it's always good to see how these Earth observation could really help you in your other areas. So this is just looking at some South Africa, where we have Cape Forest area, where it's prone to forest fires around St. George area. So this one, there were some incidents, the dates that it was reported around 2018, where there was a fire around the southern part around here in Cape George. So just this looking at the trends, the change, and from the colors, the green is good vegetation and the red, the changes have occurred, etc., etc. So from this example, also just taking you to the platform is that we are really trying to work with collaborators and stakeholders to improve more areas of, providing information. So from the general assessment of the water observations and also looking at other insights from agriculture, food security, and also looking at other sectors to support the greater climate resilience. And some of the notebooks, working closely with Edward and team, has been to support some of these development of these notebooks. Their insights that I'll be able to share just for the purposes of this presentation. So access to the platform, we've been able to register most of your sandbox accounts, and where they have not, we've been able to provide support, including giving you also the access to this PowerPoint and also our contacts. So our platform is also cognizant of the various development goals, SDGs, and we've also tried to show as much as possible what is possible. So in the sandbox, once you've registered, you'll see quite a nice platform. And looking at the thematic areas, we could move from agriculture, coastal, land cover, machine learning, meteorology, and also looking at the various satellite imageries, and also looking at surface water, and also other applications in urban. So that is also looking at the SDGs in the landing page. You can be able to see the various resources. So once you click on one of these, it will take you to these particular notebooks. So these are Jupyter notebooks, which have been pre-run for you. Yours is just to change the coordinates. So this is how fast technology has moved. Making sure that now we are empowering you guys not to look for data, but actually just start developing solutions and getting the insights as much as possible to start your work. So in the agriculture food security, there's greater support on looking at crop health and also vegetation phenology at country level and also at individual farms. So this example of an individual farm somewhere around Pretoria, South Africa. And looking at the applications of water resource and flood risk, where most of you will be looking at, we are also able to provide insights, some of the drought events. For example, in the year 2016, 2015, 2016, 2017, there was reports of drought in Cape Town. This is in the southwest, and one of these dams was really affected, the Waters Kloof. We can actually see from space those insights using the Digital Africa Map service. Also, we're able to have those seasonal animations just showing you the trends over time. Yours just to know the coordinates and the extents. And this will be a particular service or results that you could get from one of these notebooks, highlighting the change, as you can see visually, and also giving you a comparison with what was reported in terms of rainfall. In terms of just some of the water bodies, there's an example of Lake Baringo in East Africa in Kenya, where there was quite some incidences of flooding reported in the year 2019 every September. So that trend we can actually see from these kind of animations. So our service is to create more insights and for you just to provide a direction to where your research is going and presentation. From our partners, Esri this service where we have Africa Geoportal. And in this particular example, they were demonstrating an example of a flood event which was reported in Kenya. And in this particular case, there was quite some flooding. And they're able to demonstrate this in their platform using our water observation from space. And this was quite one of the rivers moving through the town, and also looking at how really people were impacted. So it's an example of an application in the Africa Job Portal. So we are really empowering the partners to reach all the communities as well as you as the audience, to empower with the real tools to provide those insights in your area of selection or somewhere that you could be looking at your particular hackathon, and you're able to change some of these details on the fly, looking at the area of interest and looking at the times, etc., etc. So this is quite an informative tool to create those insights. So from that, also looking at the applications of urban, we're able to look at the change of the extent. It's just an example of looking at the extents of some of the areas. So we'll be using the Sentinel tool, annual mosaics, and you're able to create those animations from different years and seeing how those cities have been growing. And this is just an example of how this particular notebook works. This is an example of the notebook on urban change. And in that context, we'll be having a result, for example, for Johannesburg. This could be a trend. When you run it, you'll be able to see those areas which have grown and areas which have remained stable. And also, this is an example of looking at an urbanization example where it also includes data sets from the global human settlement. This is an example of Dakar in Senegal as a coastal city, and looking at the different indices to show the built-up areas. This is a collaboration with G20 Africa with the Sahel Western Club, whom have access to data sets for the urbanization called Africa Geopolis. And also they've been looking at showing the trends in urban green space and looking at the tree cover estimation. So this is an example of Ghana, for example. So in the context of the hackathon, just looking at those topics, you're able to look at urbanization, look at how to predict forecasting. So this one, you'll have to look at some skills and using some of the data sets in terms of machine learning, and also looking at some risk areas, flood risk areas. It's an example of what I would have shown. And also in the area of coast and mangrove, we have the notebooks, the one on mangrove and another one on coastal, where we have the particular dashboard, which is able to give you the insights for the whole continent. And this is just an example of one of the stories we were able to work with the South Africa Earth Observation Network, SION, and they were developing a coastal risk vulnerability map. And this would have, if you would have remembered earlier on in one of these particular examples, we had shown Durban in South Africa. This was the story. Also working closely with the journalists, he was able to share some of these stories where he was actually showing what was happening before then in this particular area, going back to those data sets and showing what he could report using our data set. In terms of cross-cutting applications, we have, you can be able to do land cover maps for the country level, and also looking at some of the disasters, how we're able to classify them. So this is an example of recent flooding. So this could be anywhere in those continents, any country, you'll be able to focus in your work. Also looking at some of the extents of the water. This is one of the examples of the lakes I was able to show. So you could actually see areas where possibly there was flooding from this particular notebook. Also looking at some of the work we did and supporting in Nigeria. We had an example of somewhere called Lokoja. And this particular area, we were given the particular dates for that particular flooding event. So this is some of the areas you could actually pick. So it could be anywhere in the continent. Also looking at our collaboration with Esri, I was able to demonstrate some of the flood risk monitoring tools. And also looking at the drought level, we could see what is possible at a country level, and you can see drought areas which could correspond with the drought in Cape Town South West here. So looking also at vegetation anomalies, we can generate at country level at different dates, and you can see generally the trends and the red drought over time. and you could generate this per month, noting that the winter season and the summer season, etc., etc. So in terms of wildfires, I was able to show one around Cape Forestry around St. George. This was just one of the events. Then there was another one reported around Cape Town area. So those are the events you could pick anywhere in the continent. And also introducing you to the courses that we have in English and French. And it is recommended that at least you complete this introduction to the sandbox course, which would give you those insights, and you'll be able to share your certificate with the corresponding email address for to collect, at least to see our understanding on the G20 Africa platform. So these particular links to those particular courses, and also just giving you a summary on what we've covered, the learning platform, how to access it, and where to access the particular courses, and also to allow you some time to ask any question. So the Sandbox platform, the introduction to the course, first looking at the user guide, it's really step by step. It's like a library, it's like a dictionary which tells you if you're able to search for any resource, you could actually get more information about it even before going to the Sandbox. You can actually go to the particular notebook and get more insights. So for example, crop health, you can just click and it will give you the information. So this is quite useful for us to know. Also, access to the platform is free, and you're able to engage in the introduction to sandbox course for this particular hackathon, at least to give us an understanding. But you're also welcome to also look at the other courses that are there. Ours is to empower you even after the hackathon, at least to be more empowered on the tools and opportunities that this could open to you, as we have teams from across the world, and it's quite a learning that we could learn also from each other. So these are the courses that we've developed internally, and we've had also some in it's very useful because it just gives you an understanding on the platform, and of course what we're actually doing in the platform, the courses, the resources, and also the topics, session 1, session 2, and you'll get a certificate of completion. And also there's extra module at the end just to give you some basics of Python, which you don't need to struggle, because at the end of this course, you really be empowered to get the insights, and of course, looking at the dates that are planned for this particular hackathon. So there will be a certificate, you can monitor your progress, and then you can share this information also with the course organizers to at least see how you've been able to at least get some insights in the platform and how ready you are for this particular hackathon, just as a way of giving you some resources also. Now, we also have the technical support, where, of course, it will be myself and my colleagues, and you're able to request this, this information, and also we'll be able to share with you the link to this presentation just shortly. So all these resources are to make sure that we're empowered. So after end of this course, all of you will be able to at least have the opportunity to be part of our stakeholder engagement, looking at agriculture, water cover, and what we can really showcase as some of your work from the particular continent. So there's quite a lot of resources, and we are here to empower you to make sure that you're able to access the resources, looking at some of the focus areas, some of the topics, and also how to access additional material information about us, including the live sessions, which are in English and French, and also all these resources to make sure that we are really empowered at the end of this particular hackathon, as well as this particular time of training. So also, this is our understanding that at least we understand the technical challenge and some of the resources that you'll be able to look at. And of course, you are able to look at other ways of connecting with us, including the the sessions in English and French. These are the live session as well, and also acknowledging the partners, Hamza Trust and Australian government and other partners as we continue to grow this ecosystem, and also just pausing there for any question or comment. And also in case Edward wanted to share his screen on the how to access the platform in terms of direct access and some information to take in one day. So I just wish to take them back to the small demo of the platform that we were making. So this is an example of the user guide. So in the user guide, you'll see all this information, especially the access on the web GIS. They can be able to access it on through the API or through any other platforms that they would like to have. Also, we have a direct access as well, where they need to access to other platforms as well. And also we have the ODC stacks as well, in case they need to access it on other platforms. So for the direct access, there's the link also, which is also part of the presentation, but I'll also put it in the chat as well, giving them the opportunities to access that particular resource. Then also on the map, just another demo that we can do. Hypothetically, we are from anywhere in the continent. Let us just take us to another country. We could add one of the data sets, such as the surface water. And you can see more information about it in terms of how you can access it in the web GIS services, etc., and the capabilities that you will get. So let's go to do the recap as well. I know it's quite some resource. That's why it was supposed to be recorded. Then we'll share the video with you via our DE Africa YouTube channel. So looking at West Africa, we have the Lake Volta in Ghana. So we can be able to see some of these water bodies. Then if you're loading very well, you can load with you can change the map backgrounds as well. So at least you're able to see quite some loading quite faster, etc. So also there's more information about the data, the metadata. So that's why we are allowing you more time to cover some of these resources, and also just taking you to the LAN platform. That also it gives you step by step, especially for those ones who do the courses. Also, I wouldn't surprise that some who might have read the information note and might have even completed the course. So I know we have dynamics of teams, and also maybe some of you are working during the day or other times, the platform. So the platform access, as you can see, is quite free. And in case you forgot your password, you can always click there and it will give you that, and you'll see where to launch and to start, and then the default environment, and you start. So also going back just to the access platform, the areas I talked about, the Africa GeoPortal, just looking at that as well. And also looking at the metadata explorer, which can be able to give you an idea of the data sets that we have. And also looking at Africa GeoPortal. So all these resources are there. And I'll just put the link to the chat so that at least we could have any other follow-up questions for the team. Deliverables, and this is where we are, where we don't have the actual knowledge and where to start. And ideally using our knowledge and not to say imagination, but with different skills and teams, you could look at these three topics and come up with something unique. So I'll just present in an example of Durban in South Africa, and you could see what a journalist was able to do as an example. And this is something that they shared with the greater audience. So just looking at the story here, you can actually see it's access to the platform. The person did not have any background on how to use a platform, but the person was able to go in the platform and try to use the data and compare to what they had. So it means we are really empowered to use any other data sets that we have to our disposal and see what we could actually come up with as an example. I think possibly I'll be able to share another example of some teams we had in a recent hackathon in the Big Data School, and they were looking at more specifically, let me just share this on another page. So the task was to come up with an example of a program, a project like flood risk. And from that, the issue was where do we start? So they tried to get some research, and from what they had, and the example I shared from Lokoja in Nigeria is that they were able to use that particular notebook to look at an area where it was prone to flooding. So I wish not out of bias, but just showing some examples we had around Mozambique. One of the team's person was from Mozambique. And in this case, what has been reported in the social media has been the cyclones, which are prone either early February each year, at least early the year, there's something reported. So based on that data, we were able to look at some of this imagery, and I thought maybe why not use a mosaic of sentinel data, which is most not likely affected by cloud cover. So this is the particular area, and just for our particular exercise as an example, is that I could just share the link of what I have on my screen so that we first try to invest in getting some background information of our areas. So looking at the area and the coordinate of the extent of the area, Beira has been affected a lot by floods. So what I was trying to do now, based on that image, I could now go to a specifically an image collected or collection of the data. And why using this radar sat data is because it's not affected by cloud cover, but it gives you an idea of how the area is affected. So then, based on this information of that area, first getting the data set is always a problem in most of our work, an example. But now we've been given a flood event around February 2019. And we could be able to have that particular image just loading in a few. And based on this information now, I'll be able to see different colors and presentation from the radar, the combination of these particular bands, and just visually just try to see what I'm seeing. So early in the year, the January, you'll see the red. These are areas which were submerged based on the flooding events noted the January of 2019, which was different. There was nothing in the first of that particular year, 2019. And the rain event, this particular cyclone was there early January. And those are the two images, at least three or two in a month, able to show you the change in red just visually. So what we could do, because then we are trying to investigate the data, is to see if I could have an image of the same area and try just to visually show what was happening. Then as I also try to also load into my sandbox so that I can get that particular notebook, which was developed by that particular team, is that you'll see they were more keen on getting the actual dates of the events. So it means us, we are the ones with the information in terms of the area, study areas that we have. It could be a flooding area in Niger or a flooding area, etc., etc. So what I have in your screen now is two images, one on the left and the other one on the right. So the one on the left is just when we had the flooding event around the 13th of that particular January, which you can see showing you some areas which are affected. And if I go to the 25th, I was able to get more information, quite areas more affected. However, the one on the March, there was no affected because the event had also, naturally the water had just taken its natural course and dried. So you'll be able to see those hotspot areas, and that's just an example of one of the project areas you could look at. Then if I remove everything or maybe just try to share another area of interest, will be some of the flooding events we had earlier the year. Last year around Kenya, this particular basin in the eastern, the water basin here. So I'll be able to look for now for the particular image as an example. I'll load the Sentinel-1 data and now remove the filter and filter now to my particular location. So I'm looking for some dates. So I'm looking at the last year, just April. So I'll be able to see the visualization. It was actually around this particular water body area. So the areas around affected in the red. So then since we are not sure, we can now do a comparison. And then the second comparison is to make sure we have the right location. So now these are the one I'll change to a different date in the month of April, where there was quite reporting of the incidents. And you'll be able to see the differences and areas which were really affected. And what I'll do, I'll just put the link in the chat, which will really help us to start to check on these areas that we need to identify that might have been affected by flood. So yours will be maybe to look at flood as well as to look at the actual event and how it happened. Then also when I open my sandbox, as it takes some time, I'll be able now to take you to that particular notebook, which if you look at the slides that I've shared in the chat, you should look at slide number 48, which shows you the event of Lokoja example. Maybe I'll just project it here again. So there I'll also share the link of that particular notebook, which was also shared in the that particular summary. So this is a particular link to the notebook, which is here. And also, since you see it on that particular page, there will be in the summary where there's a link for a certain notebook, which will help you in this flood risk. So all these links are just supposed to help us and guide us. Then also, I'll just go back to this other example. So we are actually today just building our skills to see which are the areas, and based on the knowledge that we have, the areas that we could look at. We are not sure how your teams will arrive in those particular examples, but of course, there will be some opportunities that you will see those areas that are really highlighted. So, so this team was working with from the big data school in Cape Town. They came up with this particular notebook, which is the same. So they were just looking at the flood risk assessment using Sentinel-1 data as an example. And this is the particular notebook, which now yours is to look for the extent of the area and look at the particular dates that you are sure there was an incident of flooding. And they tried somewhere also in Niger, They were trying to look at the river Niger, and they were not able to get the particular results. But when they looked for somewhere else, like the examples trying to share for there was the one in Lokoja that is shared, and there's a one for Bera, which is the one now is in the presentation, which is the same notebook. Yours is just to know the particular extent of the area, and this is the area that I was trying to showcase. And this is some of the results that we are getting from these images. So this is just the script, one of the script examples. You could modify and use other data sets. And in this one now, you'll be able to see the area before flooding and after based on the dates that were provided. And yours is just to modify the script to give you the information. So you can see from this one, areas which have remained water are blue, and the areas are yellow are water to no water. But the important ones are the one in pink, which are showing you from no water to water. So those are the areas likely that were flooded. So those assessments are some of the examples based on how you present your work as a script. And also you might choose to prepare a story map, for example, using the Esri story map scenario. So this is the story map that you can capture your story and you start documenting maybe flooding and even recording some of these events on where they happen. So that will be an example of such an application. So it's all about the knowledge that we have, and also wishing to pause if Edward wanted to add more information on how to access the direct access.
The working group meeting is attended by government officials representing ministries of science, tech, and innovation. And your invitations to join the hackathon is to represent your countries in the hackathon. So the results of the hackathon will be communicated to participants of the working group, which are ministries of science across the G20 landscape.
Thank you, Mampe. Thank you. I see Kenneth has something on the screen just to guide again the process. And then, yeah, please continue, Kenneth. You are muted, sir.
Kenneth, thank you so much. I was trying to showcase the platform again. So I think I'll just do a demo of the same. As I mentioned earlier on, it's good to give us an allowance to absorb the information as it comes. However, we are just here to give you the how to access the platform. So in this particular case, as you look at the screen, is just taking you where to access the links on the website where the information is. And in this particular case, you'll see the link to the platform, the learning platform. And once you start the course, as shared in the slides, it's recommended that you cover the Introduction to Sandbox course as fulfillment for this particular hackathon, which is just self-paced. And this is the one I was just showing you earlier on. And after that, you'll be able to see your progress. And there is where you'll be able to see the particular link to the certificate, which you'll be able to get a screenshot and you can share with us, or at least you can email to Teboho. So I'll be able also to share the link to the one which had a certificate, this particular account, so that you can see how it actually looks. So from this side, just again, the links are there, and the dashboard, the learning dashboard, where we use OpenEDX. It's self-paced. Some of you have even completed. So in the Introduction to Sandbox course, you'll be able to enroll, and you'll be able to start the course. Then you'll be able to see your progress as you finish. Then you'll get to see the certificates which you could request. And that from that, you'll just have a screenshot of the same that you'll be able to look at. So when you look at the same thing again, let me just show you a case, because as we are engaging with different stakeholders, is to see that once you look at your progress and you notice that you've not finished, it could be those quizzes or areas. So there's the question and the quizzes and the knowledge. So you have to fulfill all of these before you get your certificate on your end. Then from that, the extra information is that the other courses are also self-paced, which there's no harm in you attempting them. Based on the rush to get the information, of course, to get you up to speed, we have the live sessions, which is a recording of those sessions, including the one for today. Once I get it from Tebo, I'll be able to upload it here, and just gives you those video tutorials. So for example, I wish to share the one we did with the Aqua group, so that you can actually believe it's a real story. So we had this session it was a recent one with the group. We also had the one from flood forecasting, and we had the big data school. So the big data school, we had some of the trainings, and we had also their particular video, which I'll be able to get you in shortly, so that you can actually see how they were able to present some of their work. So those tutorials are very useful, because then you'll be able to see how the format is and some of the work we are doing, and the particular one for that particular group was even done in English, French, and Portuguese. So I'll be able to share with you the exact video of some of the work that they were able to present, and also showing you that we provide you with the necessary support. And as I'm joined by my colleague who is busy somewhere, he will showcase to you the various ways of integrating your other data sets, because I know that was one of the questions asked, and this is the particular one that I was looking for. So this was just one of the work presented by the Big Data School, where that particular video of they were showcasing some of their work, and this particular example from Mozambique flooding. Yes, so we have the sessions in English and French respectively, just showing you the tutorials that have been there for a while, just giving you the links. So check in, Edward, if you're able to do the demo on the direct access, or should I do it?
Thank you very much, Ms. Mampe. Thank you very much to everybody for your attention and your engagement. And it gives me great privilege to have been steering this ship, and I hope it's going in the right direction. And let's keep communicating, and I'll be on the lookout for communication from us as well as Digital F Africa. Good luck with the quizzes. I can't answer even a single question. I'm really counting on you. Thank you very much, and have a good evening and a good night to the other colleagues. Thank you very much.